Good morning, everyone. It's a Friday, December 18th, coming to you live from Seoul. I'm Kim Dami, filling in for Kim Mo-gyan. Before we get started, these are the stories following at the top of the hour. 1,062 more COVID-19 cases confirmed here in South Korea this morning. And the government is also set to reveal its additional vaccine procurement plans in the coming hour. French President Emmanuel Macron tested positive for COVID-19. After coming in contact with the president, numerous European leaders are going to self-isolation. Tottenham Hotspur's Heung-min wins the FIFA Puskas Award for the best goal in the world. That makes him the first South Korean and the second Asian footballer to win the honor. South Korea has reported more than 1,000 daily COVID-19 cases for the third day in a row. As the situation worsens, the nation's health authorities are continuing their push to secure as many vaccines as possible. In fact, they will reveal how their plans are going in less than an hour. For more on this, we have our Choi Won-jong on the line. Won-jong, what can we expect from this briefing?
Well, good morning, Tommy. Earlier this month, South Korea's health authorities said they were planning to secure COVID-19 vaccines for 44 million people starting from the first quarter of next year. Now, one of the pharmaceutical companies' name was the British drug maker AstraZeneca. However, at approximately 10:50 a.m. Korea time, the South Korean government will unveil its additional procurement plans. And according to the health officials, Pfizer as well as Johnson & Johnson could be other vaccine suppliers the government will sign deals with. Now, on Friday, South Korea confirmed additional 1,062 COVID-19 cases. It marks the third straight day that the new daily caseload has been of 4 digits. All but 26 were locally transmitted. Seoul alone had a new 398 new cases. This brings the total national caseload to more than 47,000. The government is still cautiously monitoring the situation and whether to raise the social distancing levels to the highest tier. There are concerns such a move will tremendous economic damage. However, South Korea's prime minister is urging people to follow prevention guidelines before deciding on the next move with local government officials and experts. And that's all I have for now. We'll bring you information on the briefing during the next newscast at noon. Back to you.
In the meantime, French President Emmanuel Macron has tested positive for COVID-19 after experiencing symptoms and will self-isolate for a week. And numerous European leaders have gone into self-isolation after coming in contact with Macron. Our Kim Yo-san has the details.
European leaders are on alert as French President Emmanuel Macron tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday after showing symptoms. His office explained that the president got tested as soon as the first symptoms appeared, adding that his wife tested negative on Thursday. His spokesperson asked the people of France to take particular precautions as the virus continues to spread.
I want to insist on the fact that it reminds us that the virus circulates in the world and in France, and that even when you're extremely careful, it can be contaminated. So we must all continue our efforts and respect the measures of protection and sanitary recommendations.
The French and Spanish prime ministers and EU Council president are among many top officials self-isolating because they recently came into contact with Macron. The Spanish government says its prime minister will be in self-isolation until December 24th, while the Portuguese prime minister has also placed himself in quarantine after contact with Macron. Macron also attended an EU summit at the end of last week and also sat down with German Chancellor Angela Merkel for a bilateral meeting. The German government explained that Merkel tested negative after she was tested a few days after the EU summit, as is routine. Macron's diagnosis comes as Europe's accumulated death toll from COVID-19 topped 500,000 on Thursday. It became the first region in the world to pass the bleak milestone. Kim Yo-san, Arirang News.
Many countries continue to see record high COVID-19 figures, with the United States still leading the world with the most confirmed cases and deaths. In Brazil, COVID-19 cases were reported for the very first time in a previously virus-free town. Our Choi Min-jung has more.
Even with the distribution of the first vaccine against COVID-19 this week, the United States continues to reach grim milestone after grim milestone. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, The country on Thursday surpassed the 17 million mark for confirmed COVID-19 cases. The country also reported more than 309,000 deaths in total. The U.S. continues to lead the world with the greatest number of confirmed cases and deaths, as the country on Wednesday reported more historic highs. More than 247,000 people tested positive in a single day, with a record-breaking 3,656 deaths. On the same day, the number of hospitalized patients exceeded 113,000, the highest figure recorded since the outbreak of the pandemic. Over in Brazil, new COVID-19 cases were reported for the very first time in the only COVID-free town. Health authorities on Thursday reported 4 new cases this week in Cedro do Abaite, a small town in the state of Minas Gerais. Of those confirmed, 1 person has recovered, while the rest are in treatment. The daily tally for Japan also hit a record high on Thursday. According to COVID-19 statistics from NHK, Japan's public broadcaster, the country reported over 3,200 confirmed cases in a day. The new daily high comes as Tokyo's single-day tally broke the record with 822 cases. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
The authorization for a second COVID-19 vaccine in the U.S. is one step closer. On Thursday local time, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration Advisory Committee voted to recommend authorizing Moderna's vaccine for emergency use. Watchers say the FDA's emergency approval is expected within the next couple of days. Meanwhile, the health agency is revising vaccination guidelines for COVID-19 vaccines developed by Pfizer and BioNTech after side effects were reported among those who have received the shots. Health authorities are warning that people who have shown allergic reactions in the past should refrain from getting inoculated. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he has yet to receive the Russian-made Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine. He also denied accusations the Russian government was behind the poisoning of one of his harshest critics. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
Speaking at his annual press conference on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he has not yet been vaccinated with the Russian-made Sputnik V vaccine, saying it has not been recommended for those 65 or older yet.
The vaccines that go into civilian circulation are currently provided for citizens in a certain age zone. The vaccines have not yet reached people like me. I'm a fairly law-abiding person. I listen to the recommendations of our specialists, so I haven't had the shot yet, but I will absolutely do it as soon as that becomes possible.
The 68-year-old added citizens in other age groups were receiving the vaccine before he has access to it. The Sputnik V vaccine has been touted in Russia as the world's first registered COVID-19 vaccine after receiving regulatory approval in August. However, it drew criticism from experts as it had only been tested on several dozen people at the time. Putin ordered wide-scale vaccinations in Russia earlier this month, with healthcare workers and teachers at the front of the line. Russia has recorded more than 2.7 million COVID-19 cases and 49,000 deaths. Data published this week found the Russian-made vaccine to be 91.4% effective. Putin also brushed aside allegations that the Russian state was behind opposition leader Alexei Navalny's poisoning earlier this year, saying it was a trick to harm the Russian government. Navalny, who survived the poisoning, is currently recovering in Berlin. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The South Korean economy is showing a slight rebound in exports, but uncertainties remain due to a mid-November resurgence in COVID-19 cases. According to the Finance Ministry's monthly Economic Green Book report released on Friday, exports in October rose by 4.1% compared to the same period last year. But production in the mining and manufacturing industries fell by 2.2% on-year. Consumer, business, and production sentiment also dropped as retail sales and investment in plants and construction all fell in October, both on-year and on-month. U.S. national security has been put on high alert following a large, sophisticated cyber attack that stretches back 2 months ago, which has just recently come to light. The government and the incoming Biden administration have pledged a swift and strong response. Our Lee Kyung-in has the latest.
U.S. authorities have expressed growing alarm over a sophisticated cyber attack after it emerged that federal networks had experienced an attack a few months ago. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency on Thursday warned that the hack poses a grave risk to critical organizations in both public and private sectors. The agency pointed out the latest hacking had displayed a great degree of sophistication, resulting in severe damage to parts of the federal networks. The big issue, it said, is that it is highly complex and challenging to remove malware inserted in the software. Earlier this week, the U.S. government confirmed elite hackers, suspected to be Russian, attacked its networks in March. It called the hacking significant and ongoing. The Treasury and Commerce departments are among the affected agencies, and the list could grow as the investigation develops. Following the news, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden pledged strong retaliation against those responsible. He also said that cybersecurity will be top of his agenda as he promised a swift response against the latest attack as soon as he takes office in January. The total damage has not been confirmed, but watchers say it could mark the worst government hacking in U.S. history. Eyes are also on how the incident will affect future Washington-Moscow relations, as Russian President Vladimir Putin had expressed hope of improving ties. 이경은, Arirang News.
Tottenham Hotspur's Heung-min has won the FIFA Puskas Award for the best goal in the world this year. At FIFA's The Best ceremony on Thursday, the South Korean international was awarded for his pitch-length double-end goal against Burnley in the English Premier League in December 2019. Son is the first South Korean and the second Asian footballer to win the award, and is currently in the mix for the EPL's top scorer, netting his 11th goal of the season in Spurs' 2-1 defeat to Liverpool on Wednesday. A South Korean mobile network operator has successfully demonstrated the world's first self-parking system using 5G technology. Our Heung-min has more.
This mobile app shows empty spaces at a nearby public parking lot. The person clicks on one of the blue parking spots and presses the button that says Start Autonomous Parking. The car then drives itself along the streets of Seoul and parks itself safely in the parking lot. South Korea's major mobile network operator, LGU+, has successfully demonstrated the world's first autonomous parking system using 5G technology.
The self-parking system does not just provide convenience to drivers, but it also saves a lot of time.
Back in March, the company demonstrated a self-driving car using 5G on the streets of Seoul, again a world first. Instead of simply recognizing traffic through cameras, the cars receive traffic information through 5G, which is much safer for the passengers. And empty parking spots are detected through CCTV installed in public parking lots.
So far, self-driving cars used cameras to check the traffic lights, which has some risk of error. But with 5G, there's zero possibility that it can misidentify a traffic light, as it accurately identifies the traffic signals.
The professor added that he hopes this service will help citizens who have difficulty driving, such as the elderly and those with disabilities. Heung-min, Arirang News.
Good morning. We finally had some relief from the bitterly cold morning temperatures. Lows were about 8 degrees higher than the same time yesterday here in the capital. But afternoon highs will not rise much, while frigid air moves in again tomorrow with an expected low of -10 degrees Celsius here in the capital. Western and central regions, including Seoul, received light snow overnight, and this could continue through this afternoon, so please be careful out on the roads. Meanwhile, Korea's easternmost islands of Dokdo and Ulleungdo will see snow through tomorrow. Skies will get brighter for most parts, while daily highs will go up a touch higher than yesterday in most parts of the country. And Seoul will get up to just freezing mark, while Daegu will make it to 6 degrees Celsius this afternoon. The winter solstice is next Monday already. Then we have Christmas Day on Friday. Well, next week though should not be as cold as this week, but please do stay warm. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
That'll do it for us. We'll be back at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching and goodbye.